The biggest trend that I am seeing in sales right now is a true need to return to more of the human touch. And so I don't know about you, my LinkedIn inbox is filled almost daily now with reach outs that were clearly automated through AI. Now, I don't have anything against AI. I use it. I appreciate it. I think it's important, though, to use it in the proper context, which is to support your efforts as an individual, not to replace the true human-to-human touch of relationship building. And so when I get those messages, it's an automatic delete. It's not even going to pass through the filter, and anyone who values their time is going to do the same thing. And so with all of this, I think the more we can create experiences for our clients that make them feel seen, heard, recognized, understood, our clients and our prospects, right? So whether it's taking the time to create a personal video for someone, whether it's inviting them to an event where they can come and be live, person to person doing things. Again, AI is amazing and wonderful and a powerful tool. And I think at a deep human level, we are craving that connection more than ever, like real authentic connection more than ever with others. And so I think that the companies and the reps and the people who win in sales today are going to be the ones who know how to put AI in the place it's meant to serve and leverage it to save time and automate processes that really don't need so much of that human element, but then channel and harness that energy that it frees up to building those deeper connections and relationships with the people who we really care about, both in business and outside of business as well. My number one tip for motivating a sales team is always tie your vision into their vision. So this is where it's so important when we're onboarding new team members or bringing new people into our company, to understand deeply, why are they here? What are they looking to accomplish? What's important to them? This is something that I do. We've got a small but mighty team in my company right now, but I've also led larger sales teams. I've coached sales leaders across really large organizations. But even thinking about in my own company, the conversations I have with my team members, it always starts with what's important for you this week. What are you focused on? We talk about the bigger picture vision for their life. I know that one of the best things I ever had a leader do for me before I was in leadership was she had me fill out a list of my top 10 desired life experiences, things I would love to do, people I would love to meet, opportunities I would love to have. And I wrote down things like, I think at the time I wanted to ride in a hot air balloon. There was someone who I wanted to meet who was kind of a celebrity in our space, in the sales space. And I filled that out, and it wasn't just lip service. So she actually took the time to read through it. And then she would create custom incentives for me where she helped those things come to life and come to fruition. And it always benefited the company because, of course, my success became the company's success. But I was motivated because it wasn't just about being on a leaderboard, although that was important too, but it was about I can actually fulfill my bigger picture life vision by being successful here in this company. And so I think, especially when things feel uncertain or challenging or hard, and we're having to really dig deep to figure out how do we motivate a team in a time that feels like this. Being able to consistently bring them back to their personal vision for their life, for their career, for their success, what this is going to do, not just for them, but their family as well, is so, so important. Because just think about, as a leader, what motivates you? Why do you show up? And it's not going to be any different for your team members as well. So always tie their vision in with the company vision. One of the top resources I would recommend for sales leaders is something that I have all my clients do right off the bat when they're starting. And this may sound a little bit out of left field, but I'll explain how it applies. And it's something you can create today on your phone, on the notes application. You can do it in a spreadsheet. And again, it may sound strange, but bear with me. So as a sales leader, you have goals. You have goals for yourself. You have goals for your team. According to neuroscience, your results will never supersede your identity. So this is really important. So whatever goals you have for yourself or for your team, 95 to 98% of what creates your success in terms of achieving those goals is going to be you actually thinking, feeling, and acting like the person who has those goals achieved. So where we run into a gap in sales and in life, frankly, at a larger macro level, is we say, these are my goals for the quarter, these are my goals for the year. And we never stop to examine how we are showing up in relation to those goals. We never stop to examine what are the thoughts that I'm thinking that are not in alignment with someone who's achieved those goals. What are the actions that I'm taking that if I had achieved those goals, I wouldn't be doing that. So whether it's procrastinating on taking action, having difficult conversations, whether it's, if you're on if you're a sales rep, not picking up the phone, not sending emails, right? So something that I am huge on with my clients that I'd recommend for all leaders is a way to create a very healthy dose of self-awareness so that you can start showing up as the person who naturally and easily accomplishes your goals. So I call this a new personality, old personality tracker. And again, super sexy. You'll make a spreadsheet out of this, okay? I have one myself too, so I'm never going to tell someone to do something that I wouldn't do. But what I would do is I would say, okay, what's my current goal that I'm working on? Whether it's something for your team, whether it's something for yourself. And then you're going to get your spreadsheet or your notes app on your phone. You're going to get 3 columns listed out. I want you to write thoughts, feelings, and actions at the top of those columns. So the first column, thoughts. From someone at that end goal, what thoughts would I be having? I'm so excited we did it, right? Or man, I'm confident. I knew I could do this. Then what are the feelings I would be having? Gratitude, excitement, celebration, elation. And then what are the actions I would be taking from that end goal accomplished? So whether it's booking a dinner to celebrate with my family, whether it's planning my next goal. So we want to get clarity on that. And then we want to make 3 more columns on the other side and write thoughts, feelings, and actions at the top. And then we just want to become aware of, no judgment, but just awareness. Where am I not showing up like that yet? So what are the thoughts that I have maybe of doubt of whether or not this is going to happen? And then what are the feeling, or maybe not enoughness, right? That's a thought a lot of people struggle with. What are the feelings that I'm living in on a day-to-day basis that I wouldn't be living in if I were there? So whether it's anxiety, fear, unworthiness, and then what are the actions that I'm currently taking that, if I'm being honest, are like a waste of time or someone wouldn't be doing them at that end result? We just want to write those down. And this was the process that I used internally to go from having been stuck at the same level for over 10 years to literally 10xing my income and my sales results in 6 weeks. It wasn't a crazy method. It was self-awareness at a deep level. And I started showing up as the version of me at the end goal accomplished. And this is the work. So for that sales leader, once you have your new identity, you're literally building a new identity, a new self-concept here. Once you have that mapped out, your job is to start practicing showing up as that person on a day-to-day basis. So you're going to have different habits. You're going to have a different way of carrying yourself in meetings. You're going to show up probably with a greater level of intention, maybe a greater level of authority in how you speak, maybe a greater level of passion and enthusiasm and excitement when you're motivating your team. But again, this is based on neuroscience. When we consistently show up that way, we start to rewire our brain to think and feel and act and believe as if our end result is accomplished. And then from that place, it's literally just a matter of time. So there's more to it than that. There's limiting beliefs that come up. There's a lot of the inner work that we do with our clients on our team around that. But that is probably one of the most valuable exercises I've ever gone through myself. And it's one of the most valuable exercises I think any of us can do for any goal we're looking to achieve. And once you do it, you teach your team how to do it. And it's amazing how the results start to take off. For me, a successful prospect nurture campaign is always going to be beginning with the end in mind, right? So we want to know, of course, what's the ultimate goal that we're looking to get someone to. So of course, it's going to be some sort of a sale. But then reverse engineering based off of that, how many touch points are we going to need to have? How can we stand out in those touch points as well? I think that's really important. How are we going to know when it's time to let someone off the hook as well, if it's just not happening? I think this is really key, to not just be chasing prospects that we know aren't going anywhere. That's a huge energy drain and energy leak for everyone involved. But so building it out from there, and I think it's different, of course, for every industry and for every sales cycle as well. But I think we want to be thinking about, how can you be omnipresent to your prospects? So one of my favorite ones that I saw one of my clients do was a 30-day, 21 touch point campaign, and they take a very targeted list. So not spray and pray, right? Which I know Mixmax is about too, right? So we're not spraying and praying, we're not doing that. But they have a very targeted list. These are our super ideal clients. And in a period of 30 days, we want to see how much, basically it's particle flow, right? How much can we connect with and interact with these people to see how we can move them through the process. And so 21 touch points, a mixture of calls, emails, LinkedIn, voice notes, videos, sending resources, inviting to events. So we want to think about creativity. We want to think about how to do things that are different. We want to bring in that personal human element that we talked about before. So I'm a huge fan of, how can I use my voice? How can I send video? How can I do things that are different and that stand out and that grab someone's attention in the process too? And then again, we have a process we move them through. So I'm never a fan of mechanical, just check the box type of action. So I think these should be guardrails, not handcuffs. So you build out your process so that you can say, this is the process we're going to take our average prospect through. And of course, if something else comes up along the way, we're going to pivot. If an event comes up that makes sense to invite them to, we're going to pivot. If we need to shift or adjust, we'll do that along the way. So we're not handcuffed to this, but this is going to give us a good flow to move people through. And then at the end, again, we want to also know, to me, it's okay if someone is not a good fit. I'm fine with moving them out of the process. I'm fine if we need to extend the process a bit, if we're finding that we need a longer sales cycle with this too, of course. So really taking things on a case-by-case basis, but having that process in place to help support them is going to be really important. And the final piece I'll add into this is the energy in which you do this, I think is really important. So in our community, we talk about it as non-attachment or lean back energy. So when we're moving someone through a nurture campaign and we're sending an email or sending a text or on the phone, they can feel if you're attached. They can feel if you're like, ooh, you need to move forward on this for me to hit my quota. So physically leaning back when you're having the conversation, when you're sending the message, because we want to think about it like, you're probably not going to fully feel this at first, and that's okay. When you have quotas to hit and numbers to reach, I understand it. But you really want to be in the energy of, I am evaluating, like we're initiating the contact here potentially, but I'm still evaluating. Do I feel like you're a great client for us? Do I think we can really serve you? Does this feel like a mutual win-win? And so even just mentally, if you can be in that energy when you're doing these reach outs and these touch points, people will feel that. And when you lean back, someone else leans forward. So you'll end up getting more interest, getting more engagement if you're in the energy of non-attachment, which is where I think it's powerful to have that process. So you're not guessing and scrambling and trying to figure out what to do. And always also thinking about, who are the next people I can move through this process to. So you have that abundance mindset with it. So those are a few keys I would say. My biggest challenge as a woman in sales is also as a mom and also as a wife, doing all the things. And so perfect example, we live up in Maine. My husband is going to medical school here. And we've got 2 young boys, both under the age of 4. And just today, I found out that my childcare for tomorrow has to move to Thursday. Tomorrow, I've got a full day of some pretty important meetings. And yet my husband can't really step out of his day in medical school because he's got some really important exams. So of course we work together, and he's super great with that. But it kind of falls on me to figure out how am I going to rearrange this. So I think learning how to embrace flexibility and learning how to communicate authentically when things don't go as planned is really important. And so I've had to learn to do that as a woman who likes a relative degree of control over her days and what she's doing and plans things out far in advance. It doesn't always lend itself to simultaneously running a company or running your sales business within your company and navigating the unexpected things that happen with kiddos or with life's events. And so I think just learning to have a healthy dose of flexibility, a healthy dose of humility, and also grace for yourself when you do need to adjust, shift, rearrange things, let people know what's going on. And I think that's also where, regardless of your gender and regardless of whether you have kids or not, having compassion and understanding for those around you when they do have something come up where they need to shift or rearrange is really, really important. So all of us learning to see ourselves and see others as whole people, not just the people who we are in work, is really, really important so that we have a healthy work-life integration.